recognized.
Thank you, and I'm really appreciative that we're having this hearing because I'm sure we'll all agree that our children are the hope of our future. So looking for solutions and how to do life better, how to do education and family better that's our goal. All of us can agree to that. So Dr. Malkus, in your testimony you stated that being in a Democrat district was highly correlated with school closure. That looks a lot like a clear example of leaders prioritizing politics over children. Why do you think this was the case? And then most importantly, how can we ensure that this never happens again?
This is an important question to make sure that we do not make the same mistakes in the future. I think that to some degree it was a fear to lead. I think there was politicization, but we saw studies and have done studies at AEI that looked at public opinion on closures. And indeed, we found that local public opinion actually reflected local leaders' decisions to close schools. We also found that public opinion changed when leaders reopened their schools. In other words, the reopening encouraged local opinion to see that it was safe and approve those decisions. That's the leadership that we needed in a time when we could see other examples across the country, across the nation, that reopening was safe, and we needed our leaders to strike forward and to make sure that option was available to families who needed it. And even when that option also included remote options for those who didn't. As we look forward, I think it's very important to look at the public health guidance that we get, particularly from the CDC, to ensure that is even-handed and clear, to allow local leaders to make clear decisions. And finally, that we weight the interests of kids higher than we did during the pandemic.
Thank you. And then also, Dr. Malkus, the left will concede that the pandemic caused learning loss. However, the evidence suggests that learning loss is far worse than it should have been because the Democrat politicians and their teacher union allies kept schools closed far longer than what was necessary. Can you share with us why you think they pushed for policies that they knew was going to cause additional learning loss? I know in a lot of my rural areas, they opened the schools long before some of these urban areas that are, primarily Democrat districts. So why do you think that they push for these policies so hard?
It's hard to know on an individual, district by district basis, but there was sort of a pandemic of the same bug, right? Fear to reopen schools, even though we could see other examples. There were Catholic schools in the same district with the same exact COVID conditions that were proving it was possible. There were other countries in Europe that were coming back earlier. And look, even when the CDC had said, as long as you take some precautions in January, you can reopen schools, we still had disproportionate closures of about 30% of districts. That's complete closures in districts located in counties that voted for Biden. So I really think that the reign of fear went too long, and we needed more courageous leadership in the face of that uncertainty.
Well, I know that in early 2021, I proposed an amendment that schools that were still remaining closed allowed parents to have the money that they were taking, and now we know either not spending or squandering, and allow those parents to find alternative educational opportunities for their children, including tutoring. And it's really a shame that they weren't forced to do that when they refused to open. And by the way, every Democrat voted against my amendment to let parents access that money to hire tutors or send their children somewhere else. Thank you, and I yield back.
Thank you very much, Ms. Miller.